Hey, it's Sherry with Plants for All Seasons. We're here, sunny, beautiful January day in Houston, Texas. It's 81 degrees. This little winter roller coaster that we're riding right now has us all wanting to know what to do next. Last week we were 20 degrees. This week we're 80. The week before that we were 80 degrees as well. So you're probably in the same boat as me. If you could take a quick pan of the yard, everything is damaged. So right now at the nursery, that's what we're just being bombarded with phone calls and Facebook messages on what do we do now, what do we do with our yards. Of course, because it's 80 degrees, we think winter's over and we want to get out, clean up the yard and get on with spring. But we know winter's not over. It's just the nature of the game in Houston. So I'm going to give you some quick tips and a little tutorial on what you should do, what you should definitely clean up, things that you can wait on, and if you just can't wait like me, like I cannot take this any longer and I want it cleaned up like yesterday, what you should do if you decide to get out and clean it up now, just in case we do get another little freeze. So like I said, everything in my yard, I've never seen this in my life, this much damage. And I think the reason the damage is more so is because we were 80 degrees the day before the freeze. And then we just automatically dropped down to that 20 and stayed there. So things were thinking it's springtime, and then, you know, Mother Nature showed them different. So even like evergreen things like the Japanese blueberry, I have a tad bit of freeze damage on the ends here. You could go ahead and give it a little pruning and shaping at this point. You should be fine with that. Things that are tropical like your hibiscus and my bougainvillea right here. Bougainvillea just got destroyed. I would still wait on that stuff because winter's not over yet. And so if you go through and cut all this stuff back and then it thinks, okay, it's springtime, it puts on new growth, and then we get a late freeze, then it's going to do more damage. So yeah, you could do some cleanup, but I wouldn't go cut way far back yet. So when it's time, I say the first week of March, come through with your tropical things and then give them a heavy pruning. Cut back, and I'm just gonna do this for demonstration. So I cut to here, and I see a little bit of green, so that's a good sign. I don't wanna go any further. There's just a tiny little ring of green in there. I don't wanna go any further yet. So when you do cut, just cut to the point of green and do your shaping and clean it up. But don't go all the way to the ground because it may actually leaf out from right here when it does come back, and then you'll have a nicer shrub earlier. It doesn't have to take as much time to recover. My Mirror Leaf Viburnum got nipped. It just looks sad altogether. I mean, it's got some really limp foliage on it. I'll do just a general shaping on this guy just to clean him up. But you don't have to do a real heavy pruning. But just all this new growth. It had new growth because we were 80 degrees right before. So it had some pretty new growth, and then boom, that's the first foliage that hasn't hardened off yet. So what happens is things grow, and if it's been cold for a while, they harden off, and then we have a freeze. You don't have as much damage. But we had 80-degree temperatures, new foliage, and then a freeze. So the foliage wasn't hardened off yet. So this is another hibiscus. If you look down here, I've had these begonias for 3 years. They were about this tall and just beautiful. I think I can kiss these goodbye, even if I get in here and clean them up, which there is some green down here. Most likely this is not going to come back, and not all of them will come back. So I'll be replacing my begonias this year. But like I said, I've had these for 3 years. They had a good life. They're toast now. Jatropha, I just got it the way I wanted it. In my yard, I don't protect anything. In most years, it's not a problem. This year, even if I would have covered these things, it got 20 degrees. A plant cover is going to protect from frost. It's not going to keep it significantly warmer underneath that cover. So at 20 degrees, it might have kept it warm enough, like 25 to 26 degrees under the cover. That's still below freezing, and for a sustained amount of time. So that's why even if you cover things, things still got damaged. So on this guy, same thing. You're gonna cut. So that's completely brown. So you're just gonna have to cut back course, I didn't bring my big loppers out here. And I found a little bit of green here. So I'll probably cut it down to about this high. This guy was probably 8-9 foot tall. And then it'll probably take a good bit of next year for this little guy to recover. Things like agapantha and ginger that are limp and rotten and full of fluid like this, you're gonna wanna clean those up ASAP, because this rotten foliage here, just full of moisture, bacteria can set in and kill the plant. So what I would do is just get your pruners out, cut it back, just like this. Get all of this yucky foliage back until you're down to this. Remove all that rotten foliage, because that's just gonna harbor bacteria and it stinks. I mean, it smells like rotten lettuce. So anything that's rotten and wet like that, you're gonna wanna get rid of, just to prevent fungus from getting it, basically. Perennial things like this is a Copper Canyon daisy. I mean, this was gorgeous right before the freeze. You'll cut that back to the ground. It's a perennial, it's gonna come back. Hamelia, the hummingbird bush, you're gonna cut that to the ground. You can cut it now, you can wait till March, it's really up to you. This is one of the last plants to come back from dormancy. So this could be mid to late March before you see even a sign of life on it. So cut it back and sit tight. It'll make a comeback. It's a good perennial. My Ixora tropical shrub, it is just chicken fried. I will cut it back most likely. It'll take a while. It will probably come back, but I won't be patient enough to wait, so I will be probably digging these guys out. True tropical shrub though. This is funny, I was just bragging that my bottle brush didn't get damaged. Yesterday these were pretty and green. Today they're just brittle as can be. So as we go with these 80-degree temperatures, after a freeze, the day after the freeze, you don't usually see a lot of damage. It's as we go, the damage gets worse and worse and worse. So I will cut these back and hope that they come back. My citrus tree, again, this was a weird color of green yesterday. Today it's this rotten yellow gold color. I am going to cut this back and cross my fingers and hope that the grafts didn't get damaged. The fruit, a lot of people are saying, but I still have fruit. The fruit froze and now it's thawed. I could have picked it and processed it, but now, it feels watery, and when it thaws out, it changes the structure of the fruit, or the texture inside, and it's ruined. So go ahead and pick your fruit and get rid of it. Wow, something that didn't get damaged. That's amazing. Another bottle brush. I'll just kind of prune this one. This one didn't get as damaged. And then my avocado. And this is another one that I will cut and see if I find it's still green. So he may actually make it. Come March, I probably won't cut this one way back. I'll cut to the green part and then I'll defoliate it, and hopefully it pushes off some new green leaves. But it really is dependent on the plant. This guy, the leaves are bad, but there are some puckered leaf buds on here. So I'm hoping that it pushes leaves out on that. Just because it's an avocado, I'll treat it a little bit differently. This side of the bed is basically the same. Blueberries are trying to make a comeback. And I have some other perennials in here that I had already cut back. Now, let's say next week we're gonna be 30 degrees again. And you've gotten out and you've done all this cleaning. Everything is cut back. Fresh new foliage is starting to pop up, because if we have a few days of 80 degrees, that will happen. You'll have leaves to try to pop out. And your tender tropical things are really susceptible to freeze after you've cut them too. So if you get out and you clean it all up and cut everything back, make sure that you cover if we do have a freeze. Let me show you what I would use. I would use this insulated frost cloth that we sell at the nursery. The reason I like it is the material that it's made out of. it's insulated. It'll keep your plants a little warmer. It wouldn't have done anything in this freeze episode that we just went through. But if it's going to get to 32 degrees, it's going to keep your plants above freezing. But it's a nice lightweight material, and you can see through it. But it lets moisture go through. So if it's a wet freeze, it'll let moisture go through. It won't freeze it to your plants. And that's really important, because if you have a bed sheet on your plants and we get wet, well, the bed sheet, the cotton, absorbs the moisture, and then that just freezes to your plants, and then you pull it off and you have freeze burn plants. And then plastic, if it's the only thing you have, by all means cover your plants with it, but make sure as soon as that sun comes out and we're right above freezing, make sure that you remove it, because you will basically steam your plants to death at that point, because it creates basically a greenhouse effect on it. So make sure, if you're going to use plastic, remove it as soon as the sun comes out and we're above freezing. So that's really it as far as getting out, cleaning up, and making sure to protect your plants if we do have another freeze episode. We're always at the nursery to help you. And is there any questions on there?
Somebody asked a question, and now I can't find it, about their century plant that they didn't cover.
Oh,
okay. What do they do with that?
So on the citrus plant, if you have visible freeze damage, and you have it kind of like the agapantha, where it gets kind of wet and mushy and limp, go ahead and clean it up and remove it ASAP, because we don't want bacteria to set in to the actual root system. Other than that, if it's crispy, if it's harder on the citrus plant leaves and dried feeling, then you can go ahead and leave it and wait until after we're done with the freeze, because that foliage will actually protect what's underneath the root system from freeze damage. Any other questions?
That was it, unless they're going to start popping them off.
Okay, awesome. Well, Kelly and I are at the nursery for you. Everybody's there. We're manning the phones and taking walk-in questions when it comes to the freeze.
They can comment on this post too.
You can comment on this post. We're really good about answering your questions. And come and see us this spring. We'll be there to help you replace all your plants. We're kind of in the same boat here, as you can see. So have a great day. Thank you.